Last time I checked, Dwayne Wade was second in the East in All-Star voting for one of the guard spots. All the credit in the world to Dwayne Wade. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and he has perhaps the greatest performance in the history of the NBA against the Dallas Mavericks in the mid-2000s. There are several guards who have had better seasons than Dwayne Wade in the Eastern Conference. So we're going to talk about 5 guards specifically, those guys being Kyle Lowry, Demar DeRozan, Isaiah Thomas, John Wall, and Kyrie Irving. And we're going to see, of those 5, who do I feel are the most deserving of the 2 backcourt spots in the Eastern Conference. Not who I think is ultimately going to win, but who I think should be there. Also, credit to Kemba Walker, just while I'm here. He's had a very good season. His improvement from his rookie season to now, especially with his three-point shooting and making the Charlotte Hornets a respectable offensive team, credit to him, but he's just a shade below the rest of these guys. And I guess we can just make a case for each one. Also, depending on who I'm playing in this gameplay, it might get kind of ugly. Give me a break. Let's start with who I feel is the one obvious pick here. I think a lot of these are pretty subjective. There's not much room between a lot of these guys. I think you can make a case for most of them. But I think Kyle Lowry has to 100% be one of the guys here. I mean, when we just simply look at the numbers, 22 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, on top of his really tough defense. But Lowry's efficiency has gone through the roof this season. 48% from the field. He's been shooting like 43% for his whole career, and now he's near 50%. And the thing I love about Lowry, he's also over 40% from 3, while also attempting about 6 free throws a game. The thing I love about Lowry the most is his fearlessness, whether it's rising up for a three-pointer in the pick and roll because you go under the screen, or just simply attacking the rim. I mean, we give Isaiah Thomas credit for going at the rim for being such a short guy, which he deserves, of course. I mean, Lowry's listed at 6 feet, and it seems like that is a legit measurement. And he just goes right in there, man, against the teeth of the defense and gets to the line. And I think the case that Lowry has over pretty much every other guy is, well, if we look at DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry, for one, he's better than DeMar DeRozan. 2, he's really like the heart of this Raptors team, and you can see that with just like the energy and the sort of fearlessness he provides, but it's also found in the numbers as the 2 best lineups that the Raptors have, one of which is with Patrick Patterson with the starters, which makes sense. The other one is with Kyle Lowry and the second unit, which is like him with Terrence Ross and Nogueira and Patrick Patterson and Corey Joseph. But then not only that, when DeMar DeRozan is in the game with Kyle Lowry out of the game, the Raptors are like a -2 on the season, which isn't horrible, but it's like average, whereas with Lowry on the floor and DeRozan off, they're like +25. So it's in the numbers, and you can also see it there for Lowry over DeRozan. Next, if we get to Lowry over John Wall has been fantastic this season. I mean, he's averaging, 10 assists per game. He's unstoppable in the pick and roll. The load that he is carrying with the Washington Wizards is just ridiculous, and they've actually been pretty damn good lately. They've been about 14-8 or something in the last month and a half, but you do have to reward winning, and the Wizards were pretty ugly the first month of the season, and of course John Wall is a driving force behind that, even if he has been carrying it lately, and they've been winning. Lowry had the Raptors winning from day one, and then if you look at Lowry compared to Isaiah Thomas and Kyrie Irving, he's way better defensively than both of those guys. So I think Lowry 100% has to be one of the guards starting in this thing. So we got Kyle Lowry out of the way, and I guess I can just make the case for everyone else here. I already mentioned John Wall and what he's done with the Wizards and his playmaking and his scoring, and of course just how much he has to really carry for them, especially because their second unit is not good at all. He's been awesome. Kyrie Irving, I mean, he's Kyrie. We know what he is. His scoring is always fantastic as he's at 24 points per game. He's efficient from the field. His finishing is really what's impressive because with how often he attacks the rim, to still be just about league average from there, at 60% at the basket, that's pretty damn good. He's had moments this season where his playmaking has been better. There was, of course, the story about how he watched footage of LeBron on the Miami Heat. That being said, Kyrie still goes through instances where his playmaking is just kind of not the emphasis of the Cavaliers' system, and that's okay. He's averaging 4 assists in his last 5. I mean, that's fine. Now, do we penalize Kyrie at all for being fortunate enough to have LeBron James and Kevin Love on his roster? I mean, his responsibility definitely isn't as high as Kyle Lowry's, or Isaiah Thomas's, or John Wall's, or really any of these guys, but it doesn't take away the fact that Kyrie has been awesome, and he is the second best player on that Cavaliers team. And if we want to get into an argument about which one of these guys are the best in a 7-game series, or Kyle Lowry versus Kyrie, that's a different discussion. I think if we're just talking about the regular season this year, I think it changes a little bit. But that's Kyrie for you. Isaiah Thomas has been ridiculous for the Celtics in the scoring outputs that he's had for them. He's had times where he's taken some questionable shots that just drop right through the rim. I mean, the moment the fourth quarter comes on, he just jacks up the game sliders and he can't frickin' miss. He had 10-plus points in the fourth quarter last night against the Hornets. And the scoring load he's providing for the Celtics, and it's just crazy. A lot of it is pick and rolls, but some of it is him moving off ball and then immediately getting a handoff from a lot of the times Al Horford, and those two have really got some chemistry going with their two-man game, which you kind of expected given how good of a big man Al Horford is. But similar to Lowry, Isaiah's improvement in efficiency has just been kind of like a joke in a good way, but it's like, are you freaking kidding me? He's shooting 49% and 45% from 3 in the last 5 games. In the month of December, he shot... These are his December stats. He put up 30 points, 6 assists, 48 from the field, 39 from 3, while attempting 9 free throws a game. What the hell, Isaiah? You need to calm down just a little bit. But he's been ridiculous. That being said, he's probably the worst defensive player here. And I mean, he tries his best on that side of the floor, and he's actually kind of strong if you decide to post him up on the elbow or whatever. But when you're 5'9", you're 5'9". Sorry, Isaiah. As for DeMar DeRozan, I mean, the scoring has definitely ticked up this year at 28 points per game. He had some ridiculous games, especially to start the season. Pretty much all of it is from mid-range, as he's shooting below 30% from 3, while only taking about 1.5 per game. The turnaround jumpers, the isolations, the post-ups, cuts to the basket, and my favorite thing, the pull-up jumper, have been just a few things that have been very damn difficult for teams to defend when DeRozan goes to him this season. And, I mean, look, if he wasn't on this team, of course, they would be worse. And he is a part of one of their best lineups this season, which is, again, when Patterson is in with the starters over Siakam or whoever they want to put at the 4 spot. And his ability to get to the free throw line, he attempts 9 free throws a game. He puts a lot of pressure on the defense, and he's really damn tough to deal with. That being said, defensively, he leaves some to be desired. He's not awesome on that side of the floor. He's not awful either. He's not as bad as Isaiah is, but, he could definitely be better, especially when you look at his physical traits and his size at 6'7", but hey, what are you going to do? And I will say, with all these guys outside of Kyle Lowry, I think it's pretty damn close. You can make a case for DeRozan, you can make one for Kyrie, you can make one for Isaiah. Personally, the second guard spot, I'm going with John Wall. And the reason I'm going with him is because I mentioned before, just the load that he has to carry for this Washington Wizards team. It's just ridiculous, man. And I think probably the craziest stat I can find about the Wizards is their starting lineup of Wall, Beal, Porter, Gortat, and Markieff Morris have played 637 minutes together. The next lineup they use the most has played 105 minutes together. So, they're not really trusting the second unit, which I would understand, and I mean, that just kind of says what John Wall is doing for them. In the month of December, John Wall, 25 points, 11 assists, 49% from the field, while attempting 7 free throws a game at over 80%. He's just doing everything for these guys, and defensively, I would say he's the second best here after Lowry. Wall's defense has declined a little bit over the past couple seasons, About 2 years ago, he was a brick wall. I mean, just one of the best defenders in the league. He's still pretty damn good, but he has gotten a little worse. That being said, between all these guys, he's still the second best defender. And I think that, combined with the playmaking, and just how much better of a playmaker he is than everybody else here, on top of the roster around him with the Washington Wizards, I think John Wall is deserving of that second starting spot. Now, all this being said, I do think Isaiah Thomas, Kyrie Irving, and DeMar DeRozan are of course deserving of being in the All-Star game, and it's pretty close between all of them. I think you can make a case for anyone being in there. Although if you have Lowry out, I disagree with that completely. So I think that's it. These guards have been killing it, man. They're all having great seasons. Unfortunately, we can only pick two. Those are the two I'm going with.